Hello and welcome back, everyone. Ellington here, and we are back with Total War Rome 2. And we have got ourselves a 3 versus 3, and this one's starting out with some explosive action. See what I did there? We've got some cavalry coming out from Saba, taking on some of these cheap Eastern spears and hillmen from Parthia. Really nothing else around there. I'm not particularly sure what the plan was of rushing those two units up here like that. There's really nothing up here. Look at his little smiley face. There's really nothing up there. Like, there's no tortoise or towers. There's no battering ram. Nothing. The only thing I could think of is maybe their thought was to burn the two towers here. But in the end, why send them alone? You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty obvious that as they go alone, they're going to get obliterated. Because why wouldn't the defenders just sally out and kill those, right? But anyways, it is what it is. We've gotten off to a fast start. Let's go ahead and look at some of the armies and players. So for the defenders, we have got Galatia being commanded by the Dark Shadow, I believe is what it was. We have got Saba being commanded by Decibel, and he's the one who sent this battle in. And finally, we have got Rome being commanded by JMJ. For the attackers, we have got Parthia here, Parthia, being commanded by Sauce, Grandmaster Sauce, in fact. We've got Pontus. Now you understand why I that, because there's two p's here. We've got Pontus being commanded by Lanzer. And finally, Boii being commanded by Sus Barbatus. So they are honestly going with a pretty normal attack here. We are on the settlement of Ailden. Typically, this corner, area is the most used attack, mostly due to the fact that it kind of forces a lot of times the defenders out of these areas due to the possibility of flanking fire. When you go over to the right here, it's just a straight attack, and those are always much harder to pull off than an attack where you can get some angled shots. And people always wonder why not attack the other side. One, because you really don't have a great wall here. So, same problem as the other wall. It's very straight. So you end up kind of just in this kind of deal right here. Then the other problem is there's a lot of choke points you then have to fight through after this point. And then, honestly, my biggest problem with Ailden is that the deployment zone is really, really far away from the walls, so it takes forever to get up there. It just takes a lot of time. We do have some slingers on. They're not even on fire. Well, he's using quick reload too. I'm not sure this is the best option here. What's happening for the most part, so you're getting some, right? You see, so there's some slinger bolts that are bypassing the tower, but in the end, the target is actually right here, which means that this tower is absorbing majority of the ammunition that's being thrown at it. These slingers you've seen just in us talking about it, it's been, multiple volleys, and they've only lost 6 men. Probably not the best use of ammunition there. We also have some stone beds on the battlefield. In most in-house games, the deployable things are usually considered kind of faux pas. They're usually banned from games. Things like stone beds, they break the charge, so it can really hinder the attackers, honestly, to a point that's kind of unfair. I think people's main problem is it's not the fact that you get them, it's the fact that you get them for free. You don't have to pay for them, you know what I mean? So you just get this pretty big penalty for free, And I think that's majority of people's actual issue with this. Sorry, I had to get a drink there real quick. So you can see early on they did break down a breach. Not only did they break down a breach, but they actually killed a pretty good chunk of Rome's Hastati here. I'm not sure which unit it was, because all these are pretty... Oh, wait, there it is, right there. 108 out of 160. I think this is going to be an interesting thing for the attackers, because, to be perfectly honest with you, going straight into this without any knowledge of players or anything, because I really don't know much about it, the players at all. Obviously, Decibel I've seen around for a while, but everybody else I really don't recognize. But you have a pretty big slant in factions here. Pontus Parthia really are going to struggle against Rome and Galatia. They honestly might even have a little bit of problems with Saba. Boii itself is a pretty powerful faction. They've got really good mid-tier infantry. They've got Osworn. Their biggest downside is they don't have a 150 range archer. But Parthia and Pontus, I think, are going to have a little bit of problems here. You know, obviously skill can change a lot, right? But that's why I prefaced by saying I really don't know anything about the players, so I don't know their skill levels. I would assume by, honestly, like that one Balearic Slinger wasting a lot of ammunition on a tower, to me, is a pretty not great thing. That's a pretty non-pro move, unfortunately. But, you know, we'll see. Saba here. You've got a lot of Sabaean swords. Do we have any Moscot Marauders? Saba went with the Royal Camel Archers instead of the Sabaean Archers. The Royal Camel Archers are actually pretty beefy, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, it's a camel cav with bows. You know, they're obviously not going to be as good as your Marib Camel Cataphracts or your Sabaean Camel Cataphracts, but not a bad unit overall. They do only have 125 range. And obviously there's only 80 of them instead of 120 of them. We've got a lot of Galatian swords over here. We've got some Galatian legionaries. I only see 3 Galatian it's 4 Galatian legionaries. Where is the rest of Galatia's army? I see a lot of Galatian swords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. 6, 7, 8, 9 Galatian swords. I hate to say, that is kind of another sign of maybe not the highest skilled player. It's not a very good army. Galatia is blessed with arguably the best mid-tier infantry in the game in the Galatian legionaries, and they brought 4. Galatian swords, while they are a solid upper low tier infantry, they're not the greatest infantry on the planet. Galatian legionaries are way superior. Typically, when building an army, what I would suggest is set up your general, you know, your noble horse or, you know, whatever it's going to be. Set up your range unit, so so for, let's say Galatia here, right? Well, we're going to say for Galatia, you set up with a noble horse general, 3 Syrians. Sometimes I may not even bring the 4th Celtic slinger, but a Celtic slinger could be your 4th ranged. Then what you go ahead and do is you set up your 7 Galatian legionaries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? From there, you add or modify, right? You can then add on, you know, with a large funds army, I think you can bring 6 Galatian swords with that army right there. It might be 5. It might be 5. I'm trying to remember. But I think that's a big miss, losing out on a really good infantry unit, or more of it, in the Galatian legionaries. I'm not trying to harp on anybody. I'm just trying to give a suggestion. Especially, I don't know if he's a newer player, which I would guess might be. He may not know that difference. So that's all I'm trying to do is say, hey, you probably want to adjust your army a little bit here. For Rome here, I see a lot of Hastati. So we got 4 units of Hastati up there. We've got regular legionaries. Looks like he went with regular legionaries for the most part. Legionary cohort. A bunch of Principes. So kind of a little bit of everything. To be perfectly honest with you, with Rome, it's pretty hard to get it wrong. You know, that's, I think people misinterpret why Rome is so good. It's not that Rome's units just are so much better than everybody else's. It's that they have so many options and they are all very affordable. That is the biggest issue and the reason that Rome is considered so strong. Their units are very good, don't get me wrong, but there are also other really good units out there, like the Boii Sword Followers, the Galatian Legionaries, you know, you have the Tribal Warriors from Tylis. There are a lot of really good infantry in the game that can go toe-to-toe with most of Rome's infantry, but that's it. You know, for Tylis, they only have Tribal Warriors. For Galatia, they only have Galatian Legionaries. For Boii, they only have Sword Followers, right? For Rome, their infantry list is, I think there's 20 units on it. It's ridiculous how many units are on that. And when I say only, I mean that in a mid-tier infantry fashion, they only have those. With Rome, they've got like 8 mid-tier units. The artillery here really letting it rain is what we're going to go with here. 48 kills by Boii. Are they the only ballista? I think so. And he's just letting it loose, man. Boii just yeeting. Now he's got 64 kills. He's really hitting right in this center area here around the... you've got the Royal Camel Archers. You've got some of the Sabaean Swords. I'm not seeing any Moscot Marauders for Saba, which is a little surprising. That's probably their best infantry. Ah, here we go. We've got a couple back here in the back. He did spend a lot on his cavalry, and that's probably why he has so few Moscot Marauders. Rome, I think they're finally just giving up on this area. They took a lot of losses on this breach. Rome going to continue to defend. I think he probably should have fallen back. You know, unfortunately, the downside is... Oh, well, okay, it's burned. Never mind. I was going to say the downside is the tower's range is pretty far, but it's gone, so it doesn't matter anymore. They don't... Okay, there we go. Move these guys back and then set up your legionaries. But unfortunately, that means that you basically have a legionary that's kind of screwed. You know what I mean? He's kind of, you know, in a spot he's not going to get out of. He's not going to fight. He's probably not going to get a whole lot of kills. Just watching that Pontic sword there. 96 kills on it with a chevron, and I don't... Well, maybe he did. I think he might have chevroned his units. Yeah, it looks like it. I was going to say he might have earned himself a chevron, and that's really good, but it doesn't look like it. You've got your Camo Cataphracts from Parthiel all the way out here. I think they were getting shot by the Celtic Slingers. They took some losses here, 67 out of 80. They may have also fought some of these Levy Freemen a little bit. I honestly think that the better use of the Royal Camel Archers probably would be out here flanking. You know, moving in and getting some pot shots and then moving away. You know, using that flexibility of having a cav unit out on the flanks. Once again, that means the attackers then have to worry about those, you know, pesky, you know, cavalry archers. So, but they're going to keep them inside, and they are using them to shoot over into these areas here. But you could see that the foothold is well and truly the attackers now. Rome is continuing to defend this. He's got his unit a little bit better solidified. It looked like, okay, there he goes. I was going to say, it looked like he was going to charge, but then he kind of went like this, and then he charged. So Legionaries going in there. They've got 19 kills. Pontic Swords here, they've got 60 already. Royal Camel Archers now 62 kills, 70 kills. Got Galatia and Saba doubling up here with some Galatian swords and Sabaean swords. Big blob of stuff up here, just seemingly waiting. Doesn't look like they quite want to go back into this fight yet. Bounce power, I would say, is very, very slightly in the attacker's favor, but it's very, very minor. So it looks like the one legionary broke, and now they've got the other one, once again, just kind of in a bad spot, you know. You got the Parthian swords pinning it here. You got a Celtic warrior moving around the flank, now fighting it. You know, even if he had decided to come here, it just probably wouldn't have been the greatest. In dry fire. There we go. Now he gets a toss off. So he's going to get in the back of these sword followers and do some damage. He's got 70 kills, but he's only got 64 men left. Javi's coming in from the Celtic skirmishers. Only 78 kills on it. It does look like they are going to break the sword follower, but look at that. He's got 160 instead of 70. Camel Archers, 97 kills, 91 kills. Sabaean swords getting some Javies off. They are landing on this tower here. There is a small Galatian sword kind of fighting it, but eventually they're probably going to have to send in one of these Sabaean swords to do it for them. The Royal Camel Archers actually came out of the settlement. They are kind of getting in on these Celtic warriors. Better be careful, though. Camel Cataphracts might come in on that. Pontic swords as well. Ooh, there's some... Look at that. Eastern Bastion Ballista. You know, I'm kind of surprised. He probably could have yeeted some of that over when they were all blobbed up, remember? Might have had some missed opportunities. Okay, we got Legionaries taking on Sword Followers. This is a 42-man Sword Follower, 190 kills, so 30 more than what we saw earlier. Parthian Swords probably going to have to go in pretty quick. Unfortunately, a lot of these Javies kind of hitting some of those Sword Followers. What you want to do at this point, if you're Parthia, you probably want to set up right here and Javi like that. Or you ask Boei to set up here so that you can come here and get some side flank, or sword side shots with your Javies. Now the Parthian sword's going to charge in. Celtic skirmishers, 43 kills. The Royal Camels, they came back in. Okay, so they are down to 28 men, but they've got 128 kills now. This is a fresh Royal Camel Archer now with only 5 kills. So where did they send both of those Camel Archers out? Yeah, here's the other one, 96 kills. Honestly, if that guy's out of ammo, you might as well have just left him out there. You know, maybe tried to get him out, you know, as just a standard cav unit. Once again, same thing. Make the attackers have to kind of think about it. They need some better units up here. They've held decently for now, but they really need some heavier hitters like your Galatian Legionaries, or, you know, a Principe would probably do pretty solid over here as well. Sword Fallers are going to eat right through a lot of this. That one's got 152 kills, taking on the Galatian Legionary, or the Galatian Swords, excuse me. There's that small Royal Camel Archer. He's coming over here with the other camels. Did they? Okay, so Rome sent his cav out. Just a standard Equite unit. It's a medium melee. They're okay. Nothing crazy. It sucks. You know, it kind of looks like you can come like this, but you can't because there's a little cliffside right there. Camel Cataphracts came in. Not 100% sure why. Really, this isn't a great place to be trying to get some charges. On both sides now, they really need to bring their heavy hitters up. This, I don't like doing this because your units are so far away from the battle that right now they could really use some of these big heavy units in right now, and it's going to take them forever to get there, and they're not even moving them yet. So it's just, I'm not a big fan of like stationing 18 units on the back at the cap point, because then you can't move things forward as easily. It's far better to have your units in a position to support, and then if you need to, you then fall back. Falling back is way easier than trying to rush forward to support the breaches. By the time you need them there, it's gone. It's done, you know. So it's just something I don't suggest doing. They continue to, right now, all they've got is just kind of the pretty lightweight hitters, Sabaean swords, Sabaean spears. You know, they don't even have anything from Galatia up here anymore, and cavalry's about to bust through to be a nuisance. This thing's lost right here. This is all kaput, and that's bad because that means this is kaput. So you can see Saba already making the smart decision to just GTFO. He is getting out of there. Then over here, the Royal Camel Archers honestly might just have to go into that combat. I think with the Mercenary Moscot Marauders, you either need to pull back this way or just pull onto the hill to fight. Principes from Rome are moving to the choke point. They might go even further from the choke point. I don't think they should. At this point, I think you might as well just give this up. And the only reason I say that is it's just too late. You know, if they wanted to keep this area, they needed to have those units there like 3 minutes ago. So you could see trying to pull back. Saba's got his swords coming this way. It's being chased down by Celtic warriors and Parthian swords. There are some Galatian swords over here that can assist. You got some Galatian legionaries and Galatian swords on this gap. Okay, now we're probably getting to the point of having a little too much. You know, you've got Royal Archers, you've got Singers, you've got Galatian swords, Galatian legionaries, Principes, Celtic sword, or no, those are naked swords, all right here. You don't need it, okay? Just decide who's going to stay in that spot and defend it. You know, Rome was already there. Galatia should probably just pull back. Let Rome take this defense and then filter in as needed. You know, set your units up probably right around here so that they can cycle with the Roman units. Unfortunately, the Sabaean swords caught. You know, Galatia should go in and help. But he's not. Come on, Galatia, he's your ally. Help him out. Help a guy out, man. You know what I mean? You see the attackers are still kind of getting their units in. There's still kind of a little bit of a struggle filtering in here. They do have an Eastern Scorpion from Pontus. That's going to be really helpful. You know, they set that bad boy up right here, and man, they can reach everything on that hill. That's going to be tough for the defenders to just sit there and take that in the face. Galatia's got his Bastion Ballista turned around. I'm not sure, where are we firing at? Unfortunately, it's not giving me the arc here. It seems to be right over here. Sabian Sword, 77 kills. Here come the Sword Followers. They're going straight in. Naked Sword's going to charge downhill. But they're going to be double teamed off. Oh no, their charge got broke by mercenary Celtic warriors. This tiny little spread out, well, I guess, I don't know if it's tiny, but the spread out unit of mercenary Celtic warriors threw off the charge of the Naked Sword, so they really didn't get a great charge on the Sword Followers. Rome here has his Bastion Ballista way back there. I don't think he can reach anything, to be honest with you. Pretty sure this is way out of his range. Camel Cataphracts charging in. The Galatian Swords do not have shield wall, but Glacial Legionaries do. I don't know why they didn't use it. So the Galatian Swords took the brunt of that charge. You could see it really knocked them over. But the Galatian Legionaries behind, you know, they could have used shield wall. Thankfully, this took that whole impetus of the charge. 157 kills on that, by the way. Whoa, what is this? What? Okay, I see. They have shifted away due to the archer presence on the flank. I was like, what the hell are they doing? They should probably at least, you know, extend that line, something like that. Not just kind of leave this whole area open. I think that's what Rome is coming to do, is hopefully to set up here. Syrian archers just firing straight into this. What they could have done is they could have held here and then had their Syrians up here to fight the Parthian foot archers. You know, there's only one of them there. Now they're just firing straight into the enemy. And yes, it's going to get kills, but probably not as good at kills as you would want. No countercharge by the Galatian Legionaries. Galatian Legionaries 120, 39 kills. Sword Followers 111 with 118 kills. These guys are pretty beat up. 99 kills, 99 men with 29 kills. Don't charge forward. Don't charge forward. There you go. Come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Now they're shooting at the Celtic bows down there, it looks like. Sword Follower about to break. Hold your ground. Just hold your ground. There's no need to be pushing out and putting yourself in an exposed position. Just kind of looking around here. Got mercenary Celtic warriors taking on the Galatian Legionaries. Obviously, the Galatian Legionary is the better unit, but the Celtic warriors are healthier, so they might be able to actually do some damage. But they're not. They're going to break. They're not as healthy as I thought they were. I thought they were a bigger unit than that. 95 men still in that unit. Some good javies over into the Parthian swords. Sword Followers charging in. Once again, no counter charge by the Galatian Legionaries. Now we're going to get a counter here. Rome and Galatia pushing in. Got two units of one Principe, one Legionary cohort, and a Galatian Legionary. They definitely want to bring a unit right here because that one Galatian Legionary is pretty beat up and probably isn't going to last as long. On the back here, we actually do have some combat. We've got Sabaean Spears and Sabaean Swords taking on some Hillmen. Then behind them, we got some Parthian swords. But realistically, it does not look like the attackers are too committed to this. I'm honestly not 100% sure why they went in there. Back here, you got all that cavalry. We got the noble horse. Over on the flank here, big fight. Look at that, we actually have the Bronze Shield Pikes, which are a very good pike unit, especially given the price on them. I think they're only like $790. It's a really good unit. Pontic Swords taking on some Galatian Legionaries. Galatian Legionaries are really good, but they're not going to be able to stand here. The Bronze Pikes are basically just going to push them out of their way. And as you can see, the Galatian Legionaries are just going to start taking heavy losses. Chariots. Got 55 kills on some side chariots over here. They didn't get into much. But really, this isn't a great faction setup for those chariots to go against. You have some really heavy tanky units that are really hard for the chariots to get through, which is the best way to use chariots, is to, you know, keep them moving through the enemy. It's hard to do that against a Galatian Legionary or a, you know, Roman Principe or something like that, you know. Pike's now 25 kills. Galatian Legionaries 124, but they're down to 73 men. Just kind of getting overwhelmed. I'm not sure why Pontus, you know, he's super blobbed into this. Instead of moving, you know, he had some opportunities to move some units around. Like my little heart that I drew right there. And the Galatian Legionary probably going to break. That's a bad idea, Saba. You just charged straight into Bronze Shield Pikes, buddy. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. No, stop it. It's not a good idea. This all out here is perfect stuff for you to go after. They're all strung out. Yeah, ping pong around in through this, right? Do not try to charge this. Bronze Shield Pikes now have 90 kills. Back to the hilltop here. You can see the Galatian Legionaries are pretty much kaput at this point. You can hear that Scorpion going. Where'd he put it? There he is. 83 kills now. And there's nothing they can do about it. Rome here is just kind of all over the place, you know what I mean? He's got a unit here, then he's got a unit coming in here. Parthian foot archers are getting some good shots there, 142 kills. But why are we not countering that is my next question. Like, you have 3 mercenary Syrian archers sitting right here that can kill those, or tell them to go away. Basically, stop them from shooting your ally in the back who is trying to defend this front. And they're not doing anything about it. Royal Camel Archers, 81 kills. I think Saba's general might be dead. If not, he's really lucky. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Looks like he's still alive somehow. Equites getting in on some Noble Horse Archers from Parthia. Equites helping to finish that unit off. You also have the Noble Horse Gen from Galatia. You know, you're probably best off out here with this Equite. You know, these units are all strung out and very exposed to cavalry. Chariots coming in. See how much trouble they have getting through these units. Unfortunately, those chariots are probably not going to get the greatest amount of kills here. They've got 102, and they may get, I don't know, 100. I'll give them 125. They're shattered, and they're going to get a couple more kills as they go. Oh, he's gonna get just over what I said. Ah, oh, come on. 126? Ah! Come on, that's got to count, right? One off, my guess. That's got to count. What do you guys say? Tell me in the comments. Do I get the credit for calling the within 1 of the kills of that unit? Equites and the Royal Camels coming over here. You know, but you got really exposed units here. Why charge into the blobs that are going to be harder for your cavalry to affect? 215 kills. The Equites just kind of walking, it looks like. And now he goes into Flying Wedge. Actually, I think he just took it away. Royal Camel Archers now 236 kills. Equites now getting back into the backs here. There's a lot of soft units back here. Ooh, here we go. Oathsworn up in the front. Where's the infantry? Where are Gondor's armies? You know, this is getting close, man. Galatian Legionaries in combat. Galatian Legionaries in combat. You've got the Noble Horse kind of helping out a little bit here. Equites kind of just run around being a big nuisance. Got to be careful. Bounce power is extremely in the attacker's favor. Oathsworn down to 90. 138 kills, so they've been in some combat. Rib Camel Cataphracts coming in over here. Now sandwiching with the Equites. The Royal Camel Archers look like they're probably finally going to break here. 305 kills. They needed to finish this unit. By walking away, he might come back. Yeah, see? When he's flashing like that, they probably should have just stayed and let him break. Galatian Swords, 167 kills. These pikes are going to be a real nuisance. They are probably going to have to sack this Galatian Legionary to try and maybe get the cav around the back of the pike. Equites coming back to the hill. Nope, no they're not. They're going to charge the Parthian Swords, who are finally using Shield Wall. 96, wow. 96 kills on the Bronze Shield Pikes now. They actually have quite a bit over here, too. It's a lot of ranged, but, you know, it's units, it's manpower. Pontic Peltis are pretty solid, too. So the Galatian Legionary actually shifting over to the Pontic Sword. You can see the Syrian Archers just kind of being a doorstop at the moment. If any of your men run, you will answer with your heads. They're in extreme danger of being cut off from the cap point. Good jabby toss there by the Galatian Legionaries. Right into the back of a very exposed mercenary naked sword. Marib Camel Cataphracts, 2 chevrons, 251 kills now. Royal Camel Archers look to be targeting the Bronze Shield Pikes now, I think. Sorry, I'm just looking around. 97 kills on the Scorpion. The Noble Horse about to die. General is dead. Now we got Sword Follower versus Galatian Legionary. Oh, did you see him get flipped over his shield? And there's those camels again. 308 kills. Here's the royal camels. The royal camel archers. It's at 330 kills on the Marib camel cataphracts now. Bronze shield pikes just standing. We got 160 kills now. The only thing left is the cavalry, it seems. Oh, they do have a very depleted Glacial Legionary. It's only got 71 men. Sword followers only have 43, though. Now, the Pontic general is dead. And Pontus is one of those factions that doesn't do super great when their general dies. Saba is another one. Once the general dies for Saba, it's rough. But Saba really doesn't have very much stuff left other than his Royal Camel Archers. And they've got pretty decent morale at 55. What's probably going to happen here is the Glacial Legionnaires are going to have to keep this guy looking while the Marib Camel Cataphracts come in, hit him in the back. That's all right. Now they're turning to you. Get in here, Saba. Come on. Come on, Saba. The Royal Camel Archers, I think, are seeing it, but the general needs to get in there. He's got 3 chevrons now with 344 kills. They got to get in quick before the Glacial Legionaries take too many losses to the Bronze Shield Pikes. Pikes with 177 kills is not a good thing. That is usually a pretty good sign that somebody probably wasn't doing what they should have been doing, aka somebody let those pikes, basically fought them head to head, and you will lose. It doesn't matter how good your unit is. If you go and fight that pike head to head with no support, just mano a mano, you will lose. And look at the bounce power, just it just completely and totally shifted. Everything just broke. And all of a sudden, this is the defender's game. And what just happened? Just out of nowhere, this whole thing just switches on its head, and the defenders pull this off in epic fashion. So we'll start off with the defenders here. We have Decibel. As Saba with 2,664 kills, leading the entire game here. All of his cavalry did very, very good. His Sabaean swords, they were doorstops. That's really what they were. They just kind of, throw them in and hold the line for a minute. The Dark Shadow, as Galatia with 2,167 kills. His range did pretty solid. His general did really good. You need more of these. Really need more of these. Galatian swords, like I said, they're a good upper low tier, but Galatian legionaries, man, bring more. I promise you they will just do so good for you. JMJ as a Rome with 1,714 kills. I definitely think that there were some wasted opportunities and some wasted units in this fight for Rome. A lot of his units definitely should have performed a bit better than this, especially against, things like Parthia and Pontus. For the attackers, we have Sus Barbatus as Boii, 2,590 kills, number 2 in the game here. Osworn with 232. His sword followers did very, very well. A pretty solid army all in all for this Boii. We've got Parthia with Grandmaster Sauce. 1,970 kills. Cav probably could have done a little bit better. You know what I mean? They're not bad, but they probably could have done a bit better. There's a lot of money spent on those. Parthian swords did pretty solid for what they are. They're not the greatest unit on the planet. Finally, we have got Pontus being commanded by Lanzer. 2,097 kills. Pretty good kills all around, by the way. 126. Should be 125. I'm just saying. 175 on the Pontic sword. Bronze Shield Pikes, 193 kills. Pikes shouldn't get this many kills. If they do, something was done wrong. I'm just saying. Celtic Warriors here, 137, 118, and then his Pontics honestly performed relatively solid. But that is going to be it for today's battle. Thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget that if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time.